don't like Mondays. I don't like Mondays.
So tell me why I don't like Mondays. Well, love them or hate them, they're the start of the week, and that's a great time to think about new ideas. So welcome to this series called The Perioperative Coach. In this series, we have top tips on all aspects of perioperative care from some of the world's experts working together to enhance surgical recovery. Don't forget to look on the show notes on TopMedTalk.com for additional links to papers, etc. And of course, if you haven't done it already, subscribe to TopMedTalk. TopMedTalk.
Paul Hutchings, a consultant anaesthetist at the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital in Norwich. I've got a more general question about facilities and resources for enhanced recovery after surgery. We are individually enthusiastic. We have 60 consultants. We have various packets of small areas of enhanced recovery that we've always done, but we're missing. We're losing momentum. I'm looking for ways to persuade our managers and service directors to help us to get more facilities. What sort of drivers are there to help us adopt more enhanced recovery after surgery facilities? Could it come from national bodies, or are there other sources? I heard some interesting information during our talk this morning for experience in the United States where it's coming close to practice standard to have enhanced recovery.
So I'll start with that one. So from the point of view of motivators, I think the best way to get people remotivated is to do a simple audit of your drink, eat, mobilise within 24 hours. You can do it as a snap audit, and if you just go and visit every patient roughly 24 hours after surgery for a week, for example, and you can send somebody out there with a piece of paper and a pencil if you don't have an electronic health record, and just count up how many of your patients are drinking, eating and mobilising within 24 hours. And if it's over 90% of the patients, then you're not going to make a huge impact with regards to what we do perioperatively to improve their outcome. What you'll probably find is it's nowhere near the 90%. And that is the thing to take to management and to turn around and say, the data suggests that if we're not achieving that goal, we're not achieving the length of stays and the outcomes that would allow us to save this trust hundreds of thousands of pounds per annum. So why don't we re-examine what's happened to our previous enhanced recovery programs? And at the same time, the Getting It Right First Time team, led by Professor Tim Briggs, orthopaedic surgeon from the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital, is championing this at the moment. So if he is contacted and his team are contacted, including the anaesthesia leads joint appointed with the Royal College of Anaesthetists, they'll offer help to support you to get whatever you need within your organisation to get people to accept that if they're not hitting those high rates of drink, eat, mobilise, and they're not hitting those length of stays and they're not hitting those outcomes, there's an enormous amount of money left on the table, and there's probably worse patient outcomes associated with it. So that would be my opening gambit. Before I come back to the question, have you got anything to add to that, gentlemen?
So my focus of interest is obviously the regional anaesthesia side of things, and we've made big changes in UCLH by introducing a block room, and yeah, it was a struggle in the first instance. In order to get funding for that, we went through the Health Foundation, which we're very pleased to get an award to try to demonstrate that it was a way of improving patient outcomes, and I think there's a good bit of work which Dr. Patel, who was talking earlier, has prepared for the Health Foundation in order to try and make that sort of thing scalable for individual trusts to try and show that improvement. So I think there are lots of bodies out there that extra to the standard budgets that we've got that we can try and tap into to try and get some of these things better for our patients.
I would say the stimulus from the perioperative warming perspective is a nice guideline. A nice guideline can be used as a stick to drive change and get organisations to comply.
Okay, yes, I would like to mention some of the things we have achieved where it just shows that it can be done. We have now invested money in a robotic laparoscopic prostate robot technique, which has driven that procedure down to 24-hour stay. But we're missing things like same-day major arthroplasty, where we were doing very well, got down from 5 days to 3 days stay, and now it's stalled, where I know from quality improvement for surgical teams meeting up in Northumbria, they're regularly doing 1 day joint replacement work. If we have a packet of procedures, we have a laparoscopic assisted nephrectomy is enhanced recovery, but if it's a partial nephrectomy, it's not. There are strange paradoxes. We need more facilities for preoperative assessment, technology for fluid management to optimise that. I just appreciate the help that you've given to find ways that we can get our managers on board for this, and the audit, I think, is a good start. Thank you.
And I think the key thing which the Getting It Right First team will help with is increasingly dashboards are going to be sent out with data for all of us to look at and be aware of. And it lets us have a clear understanding of the enormous amount of resource that we're leaving untapped. And most of that does relate to getting the patients, getting it right first time, getting them prepared and getting them out of hospital as quickly as is possible and getting them home and not readmitting them. And it's probably one of the few ways that we can free up a lot of resource and beds to keep the health system improving.
TopMedTalk. Thanks for downloading and listening to TopMedTalk. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even got our own YouTube channel. Whichever your favourite social media feed is, we're bound to be there. Find us. Also, subscribe to this podcast so that you never miss an episode. And make sure you go to the TopMedTalk website, topmedtalk.com, and get on board with the email updates. Oh, whilst you're at it as well, I suggest you download our entire back catalogue. We're categorising it at the moment. We're having a little look through it. It may not always be in the form that you currently find it. So if you get your hard drive ready for a full-on download via the website perhaps, or perhaps through your podcatcher. Oh, and if you fancy meeting us, why not go to the website edpom.org/meetings. Our next big event is EdPom USA, the Dallas Masters Course, a perioperative care practicum. Have a look for details of that and some of the other meetings coming up across the next year. edpom.org/meetings.